Morning students, today we shall start with the second year PUC first book, first chapter, the solid state. See, this is a 9 hours syllabus. 9 hours syllabus, and you are going to get 1 mark question. Question number 11 for 2 mark in the part B. No 1 mark question. Question number 11, part B, first question, 2 mark. Question number 27, 3 plus 2, 5 mark. So totally 7 marks you are going to expect from this chapter. See, the solid state in the last year PUC under states of matter you have learned the gaseous state. So there I think you would have understood what is the difference between the 3 states of matter: gas, liquid and solid. So in what way solid state, some of the points about the solid state, right, is different from the other 3 states of matter. So one point is they are rigid and not much compressible. Rigid and not much compressible. This is one of the important solid state difference compared to the other 3 states. For example, gas and liquid. Liquid is less compressible. Gases are highly compressible. Intermolecular force is strong. They have very strong intermolecular force. Internuclear distance is less. So, in the solid state, their particles are more closer to one another. Interparticle distance is less. Definite shape and definite volume. See, gases and liquids. Gases have no definite shape and no definite volume. Liquids have volume. It will take the shape of the vessel where you are keeping the liquid. But solids have their own shape and their own volume. So more than all these things, this word is very important. Close packing arrangement of particles. Solid state is defined by close packing arrangement of particles. See, as far as your syllabus is considered, solids are classified into 2 types, particularly based on the geometry. What is that? Based on the geometry. So what are the 2 types? Let me highlight here. Crystalline solids. Crystalline solids, amorphous solids. Understand? What are the 2 types of solids? One is crystalline solid, another one is amorphous solid. See, amorphous solid we are not going to learn much because the detailed structure, in fact, amorphous solids are pseudo-solids. So we will come to a clear understanding when I discuss all the points about these two types of solids. Look here, amorphous solids. Example, if I give you will understand. Glass, rubber, wood. See, these are pseudo-solids because they have fluidity. Slow flow is observed. One example I will give you. Very old window glass if you take, vertically standing for say 80 years. Window. Screw gauge you take and measure the window plate. This is a window glass. This thickness is lesser than this thickness. This is more. Why? Because within that 80 years, there is a slow flowing. ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ thin ಆಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ, bottom bulge ಆಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. That is pseudo solid. That is the nature of amorphous solid. What is the basic difference? Basic difference I am discussing the first part. Long range arrangement of particles. Long range arrangement of particles. Here particles in the sense they can be ions, they can be atoms, they can be molecules also. Long range arrangement, long range orderly arrangement, okay? Orderly, in order, orderly arrangement of particles. There is long range order of arrangement of particles. Long range order of arrangement of particles. This is crystalline solid. So here, no long range order. No long range order. Only short range order. Suppose crystalline solid may be sodium chloride, sugar crystal, ice, in fact, ice. There is a long range order. Suppose if you learn only a small part of the crystal, geometry of the crystal, the entire crystal is a repetition of the same. This is called long range order. The particles I discuss in the classification of crystalline solids. So, one important thing, crystalline solids have long range orderly arrangement of particles, but amorphous solids have no long range order, only short range order. This can be summarized in this word, definite geometry, because of the long range order. And here you can say no definite geometry. No definite geometry. So in geometry, there are different types of geometry. For example, cubic system. Entire crystal is resembling the cube. So learning the structure is very easy. Only a part of the crystal, if you learn, entire structure is the repetition. But amorphous solid, it is simply packed without much order. Simply molecules are packed. There is nothing like geometrical arrangement. You cannot compare it with any of the geometry known, mathematical geometry known. This is one difference. And this is the basic difference to make the other differences in the solids. There is a long range order, there is no long range order. Because of this, all other properties are going to differ. For example, you can write this: shining in nature. See, all crystals. So they are shining. Sugar crystals shining, not shining in nature. Wood, rubber, they are all amorphous. They are not shining in nature. That is because of these things. Because light is going to refractive index, etc. Terms. Optical phenomena. See, if you cut with a sharp tool, the newly generated surface is smooth. But if you cut the amorphous solid with a tool, newly generated surface is not smooth. For example, this chalk is amorphous solid. You cut the chalk and see the new surface. So rough it is, coarse. But you take an ice piece, break it. Take an ice piece. If it is not possible to break it the hand, take one knife, etc. and cut it. And put your finger over the newly generated surface. It is so smooth. So this is another difference. Newly generated surface is smooth. Is smooth. Newly generated surface is rough. It's rough. Next point. See, crystalline solids, they are having a specific one property that is called, they are anisotropic in nature, crystalline amorphous. Anisotropic in nature. Crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature, but amorphous solids are isotropic in nature. So what does it mean? Try to understand this diagram. Let me draw a crystalline solid, geometrically arranged. These are one type of particles. These are in between particles, other type. Okay. Now, you draw a line like this. Okay. And draw one more line in this fashion. Straight line. If you go through these two pattern of points, particles, you are going to make two different type of particles, but here one type of particle one side, same type of particle on the other side. So, when electrical properties and magnetic properties are measured, say I will give you electrical resistance, refractive index. They are different in different directions. That is another topic. Mechanical and electrical properties are different in different directions because of the order. Mechanical and electrical properties are, they are simply packed. Same in all directions. So when they are simply packed, on a long range if you consider, average basis works out. And on the average basis, the property remains same. So here what to write? Mechanical and electrical mechanical and electrical properties are different in different directions. This property is called anisotropic. Crystalline solids are anisotropic, amorphous solids are isotropic. So what are the examples I told you? Refractive index, one example. Electrical resistance. These are the examples. So here they are same, here they are different. Is it right? You can write other properties also. Any more properties you can list. True solids, pseudo solids. Pseudo solids. Pseudo means false solids. Because of no long range order. And they are also called supercooled liquids. So one more important point, even this can be asked as a question regarding the melting point. Melting point of a crystalline solid and amorphous solid has a large difference. Crystalline solid, you see, starts supplying the heat. It remains as a solid, solid say melting point is 150 degree. Okay, you go on heating it 100, 110, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48. Still it is a solid only. 49, solid only. 50, 150. At once the entire crystal melts. So this is called what? Sharp melting point. So crystalline solids have sharp melting point. Because the reason is simple. Entire structure is repetition of the same now. So that is the entire structure melts at once. This is called sharp melting point. That is nothing like becoming softer. Suppose if you heat glass, you will come to know. If you heat a rubber, you will come to know. First it becomes soft, and after very long heating, it melts. Is soft adre enartha yavade vastu. If it is becoming soft, your wood also becomes soft. Now you see different woodworks are going on. Chairs are made. One reaper they take and they heat it so that it bends. Yes, chairs and all can be made. Because it is amorphous. Melting point. No sharp melting point. Only a range of melting point. Okay, only a range of melting point. For example, first it becomes soft. Say 150 to 160 melting point. This is called range. They have no sharp melting point. They don't melt at once at all. Slowly they become soft. When it melts, you will not know. What temperature we have to take, you will not know. Because it is a solid, it starts becoming soft. Soft. Very soft. Finally, liquid. So what is the melting point? So very difficult to conclude. So this is called range of melting point. I think in the examination, if they ask a 2 mark question, give any two difference between crystalline and amorphous solid. Okay? You have so many options. Particularly if they ask you note this as important. Melting point, anisotropy and isotropy, long range order and no long range order. These points can be taken as more important points. One more point also you can write. Definite value of n enthalpy of fusion. Definite value, no definite value. No definite value of enthalpy of fusion. No definite value of enthalpy of fusion. Again I read, because it is related to melting point. Okay students, see we are not learning anything more about what amorphous solid. I will give some examples and I will stop the discussion on amorphous solid and we shall continue our discussion on crystalline solids. So what are the examples? I have already said. So recall that glass, wood, rubber, chalk, right? These are all the examples. But remember, amorphous solids are good building material. Remember, wood is useful, glass is useful. See, your crystal breaks, it is of not much use. Of course, metals are in use. Metals are in use because metal have a different property. I will discuss in the classification of crystalline solids. Other crystalline solids are not much use. But amorphous solid is a good building material because you can bend its shape. Wood, glass, or rubber, they are all very much useful as building material. So I think this is all about what classification of crystalline and amorphous solid. Now let us discuss only about classification of crystalline solids into further categories. Now let us continue with the classification of crystalline solids. Yes, see crystalline solids are of 4 types. 1. Molecular solid. Molecular solids. Second one is ionic solids. Metallic solids. Network or another name is covalent solids. See here, intermolecular force, nature of the intermolecular force, because all are having long range order only. Nature of the intermolecular force between atoms, ions, molecules is important, and that is why they have been classified into these categories. Now, particles means some of the points you should understand. If the particles are molecules, then the intermolecular force must be van der Waals force. Do you agree? What is the nature of force between molecules? That is van der Waals force. Van der Waals force is having again types, correct? No? Suppose if the van der Waals force is London force or dispersion force, which is a very weak intermolecular force, then the molecular solid is called non-polar molecular solids. What are non-polar molecular solids? The intermolecular force is London force. Polar molecular solids. it is a dipole. Intermolecular force is dipole-dipole interaction. Hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Hydrogen bonded molecular solids. So as the name itself indicates, the intermolecular force is hydrogen bond. See, need not be molecules. For example, solid argon, it is atoms only. Because noble gases are monatomic. So they are non-polar molecular solids. We use the word molecular solids only, even though they are atoms. That word will not change. So, if the particles are molecules, we have molecular solids. I think ionic solids name itself indicates. Intermolecular, it is a interionic force, ions. Here, metallic solids, metal atoms and metal ions and valence electrons, that are free valence electrons. Network solid, covalent bond, a diamond, for example, diamond. Long range covalent bonds between atoms, polymeric atoms. So this is a basic idea. Detailed discussion we shall do the detailed discussion. So here questions asked to us, they give some examples and they are going to ask you which type of solids they are. Sugar, solid iodine, copper, diamond. Classify them into the respective category. So that is the way they are going to ask question. But we cannot utilize it. I will go to details of this in a very short time. So let us start with what? Non-polar molecular solids. So first, what are molecular solids? Intermolecular forces. Okay, that is not necessary. What is non-polar molecular solids? You can write the full sentence. I will write only the points. Intermolecular forces. London force. What another name is? Dispersion force. Weak dispersion force. In terms of the induced dipole interaction. If you recall the last year states of matter. See, this is the weakest of all the force. That is why what is the nature of this? Lowest melting point. Celsius degree if you say, or minus only. Insulators, because nothing like conductor. Insulators. Some examples we can give. Solid hydrogen, solid argon, but iodine solid at the room temperature. At the room temperature itself, iodine is solid because it has got very high 127 molar mass. I2. Iodine solid is this category. Very, very important. Remember iodine. Because between iodine there is London force. I is joined by covalent bond. Next iodine, between which there is London force. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ sublimation ಆಗ್ತದೆ iodine. Iodine solid sublimes. Naphthalene sublimes. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗೆ there is London force. So, one sentence like if the intermolecular force is weak London force, such molecular solids are called non-polar molecular solids. Polar molecular solids. What are polar molecular solids? If the intermolecular force is dipole-dipole interaction, correct? No? What is the intermolecular force? Dipole-dipole interaction. The resulted solid is called polar molecular solids. So, melting point is better than what? Better than hydrogen, this one, non-polar molecular solids. But still it is less only. Still less. For example, insulators. Insulators, they are also not conductors. So here we can give example. Solid HCl, solid SO2. So here one more example, very good example I give you, dry ice. What is dry ice? Solid carbon dioxide is called dry ice. Because between carbon dioxide, because dipole moment is zero. So when dipole moment is zero, it becomes non-polar. So it exists in the atmosphere of planet Mars, Saturn, Mars. So dry ice is again which type of molecular solid? This is non-polar molecular solid. So solid SO2. Even in the textbook, solid ammonia is given as polar molecular solid. Even though there is hydrogen bonding, since they are given in the textbook, you take that under this category only, because you have to follow 100% NCERT. Because you know, between nitrogen there is hydrogen bonding, but that is the weakest hydrogen bonding. So they have given in this heading. Let us take it here. Understood? The last one, hydrogen bonded molecular solid. See, as the name itself indicates, what is the nature of intermolecular force? Intermolecular force is hydrogen bonding. What about melting point? Higher than above 2 melting point, because hydrogen bonding is much stronger bonding compared to the London force and dipole-dipole interaction. So higher than other two types. For example, sugar. Sugar, what is the nature of crystal? Each sugar molecule, C12, H22, O11. ये कल सकरे कच्ची तरह से ತುಂಬಾ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಲ ಏನಿದೆ ಯಾವ ಬಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಬಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ even ice is 0 degree 273 Kelvin with high heat they are all very less so hydrogen bonding higher melting point compared to other two again insulators because there is nothing like a conductor here thermal insulator electrical insulator. But examples you can say ice you can say, sugar you can say, solid HF, okay, solid HF. There is hydrogen bonding. So these are some of the examples for hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Yes. Now let us come to ionic solids. So what is the intermolecular force? So this is electrostatic force. Another name is there or Coulombic force between regular arrangement of cations and anions. Cations are surrounded by anions, cluster of anions, and in turn anions are surrounded by cluster of cations. So this type of arrangement results. You can't pack all cation one side and anion one side. That is not at all possible. Because balance the electrostatic force. That is why sodium chloride has 800 degrees Celsius melting point. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಉಪ್ಪು ಇರ್ತದೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕಿ ನೋಡಿ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಪೂನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟು ಕೈಸಿ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ intermolecular force. There is a geometrical arrangement. For example, sodium chloride I can show you NaCl. See, this is the cube where the corners, all the corners are occupied by these chloride ions, and all the face centers of the cube is also occupied by chloride ions. 6 faces are there. One is here and another one is here. They are all chloride ions. And in between every chloride ion, sodium ion. I use this shaded line. See this. This is the packing. This is the way packing is and the taking place. Okay? Good. So each sodium ion is surrounded by chloride ions, 6 chloride ions, and every chloride ion is also surrounded by 6 sodium ions. So this type of packing is high melting point. Correct now? The force yourself, high melting point. Definitely insulators, no? Insulators in solid state. Solid NaCl is insulator. Only if you dissolve in water, ions are free. Or if you melt it, 800 degree just ಕರಗಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್. ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸುಲೇಟರ್ in solid state. Because ions are immobile. High melting point, insulated in the solid state. So you can give example for all salts. One example for the rock salt. Rock salt. Rock salt ಅಂದ್ರೆ NaCl. Zinc blend. ZnS. Cesium chloride also another example. CET or entrance, NEET and all, you require to learn this structure as additional aspects. Okay, more example everybody. CaF2 fluoride structure, anti-fluoride Na2O. So these are some of the ionic solids whose structure you are supposed to learn. Okay, what is the nature of force? Tell me. That is electrostatic force. Interparticle ions. Okay, next one, metallic solids. Name itself indicates. See, this is called all the interparticle force is the force of attraction between positively charged metal ions and the sea of valence electrons. You watch this diagram will come now. So these are all metal ions, geometrically arranged metal ions plus charge, and I have excluded the valence electron Mg has 2 electrons. So I have put like this Mg2 plus 2 electrons. Now they are only. Now these are all Mg2 plus. Then what about the electron? I show separate the electron. Each magnesium has 2 electrons. So 2 electrons I am showing. This is the magnesium. See, these electrons are valence electrons are totally free, mobile. Here entire sea of valence electron constitute one party, and they are bridged by the metal ions. ಬೆಸ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕೋದಂತ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಸ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕೋದು ಆ ತರ. So the force of attraction between regular geometrical arrangement of the metal ions and the sea of valence electrons is metallic body. So metals are having what type of body? Metallic body. So what are metallic solids? Regular geometrical arrangement of metal ions and sea of valence electrons. Electron C model it is called. Is metallic bonding. The regular geometrical arrangement of metal ion and the sea of valence electrons. The force between, right? The force of attraction with the attraction of the regular geometrical arrangement of the metal ion and the sea of valence electron is metallic bonding. And metallic bonding is present in metal. And these electrons are totally free to move. So one side high melting point, another side conductors in solid state. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಡ್ ಬಂದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಹೌದಾ? Now we are using the word conductors in the solid state. You can give examples of all the metals: zinc, magnesium, sodium, any metal, copper, silver. All metals are metallic salts. Intermolecular force awareness is not. The last one is what? Last one is network solids. So what is the intermolecular force here? It is covalent bonding between atoms. See, two best examples in the P block elements you have studied. One is graphite. Structure also you recall. Hexagonal layer structure. Other one is a diamond. That is a giant polymeric tetrahedral network structure. So these two are the type of solids. You can recall the structures also. So these two are good examples for covalent solids. Of course, graphite is an exemption because it is an insulator. Sorry, it is a conductor. But generally when I write, I have to say highest melting point. Diamond is the hardest and highest of all, highest melting point of all over this planet. So, because of the covalent bonding, which type of solids are highest melting point? Network or covalent solids. Highest melting point, hardest insulators. But the insulators means you have an exemption. Exemption ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು graphite. And diamond is insulator. Other examples are there: aluminium, nitride, quartz, for example. Quartz, SiO2. So these are all other examples. Carborundum is SiC, silicon carbide. This is called carborundum. Understand? Abrasive. So these are all the examples for covalent solids or network solids. Now you clearly compare all these things. You have to get the most important point: particle meaning. For example, one point in the molecular solid sugar C12H22O11, one point is the access point. In the rest class analysis. Molecular solid, molecules are the particles. Ionic solids, ions are the particles. Network solids, atoms are the particles. Metallic solid, metal ions are the particles. Mg2 plus Mg2, they are the particles. Oh, make a notes of all these things and with this classification of crystalline solids.